just gonna soak this in penetrating oil. Hey, how's it going, folks? We are getting ready to do the back brakes on my 1965 Dodge D500. I've been meaning to do this for quite some time now, and we're finally getting to it. I know my impact probably won't break them loose. I'm using some liquid wrench. This is some of the best stuff that I've ever used as far as penetrating oil. And yeah, it'll break these loose real quick with a small little 20 volt Craftsman that is actually pretty powerful. But we can't do these just yet because with these dually wheels, they have lug nuts and then secondary studs. The secondary studs slide over the original studs to, you know, lock in the front wheel right here. And the back wheel is held on by the secondary studs as well. But we can't take those off yet because I have to go and pick up a 3/4 to 1 inch adapter. So I forgot to pick up the adapter at his house when I was there the other day. So we gotta wait on that. Just to give you guys a little insight of what we're gonna be doing in today's video. Obviously, we're gonna be working on the back brakes. That's the #1 priority. The second priority would be finishing out the floorboard in this truck, man. I went ahead and painted this with some 415. I still have to take off this, paint around here, take out the bench seat. That's what I'm gonna do right now while I wait for Caleb to text me. He may be sleeping still, I'm not sure. But I think the best way to take this bench seat out is undo these two bolts right here on both sides, take the back out, and then there's 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4 on both sides, and that will remove the bottom part of the bench seat. And I'll just leave the bracket in there. I can paint around it or paint the bracket if I wanted to. But as long as I get this bench seat out of here, it'll be easier to paint all underneath here and all back here. That's the main 2 priorities on today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Stay tuned for more videos on this 1965 Dodge D500. We ain't done yet, but we may be close to being done with this truck and then finding another project to start working on. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this whole series with this 1965. Still have to cut and buff the paint. I have a little bit more linseed oil to take off, and we still have to bore scope the engine, see what the cylinders look like. I think that would be a pretty cool video. But anyway, while we wait, let's go ahead and work on the cab. So what I'm gonna do now is soak the hardware that held the bench seat in some parts cleaner, some gunk parts cleaner. Comes with a little basket that you can throw all your parts that you need to be cleaned. So I'm just throwing all the bolts in here. And then we're just gonna drop this down in there and let it soak. So since I already showed you guys a little bit of painting in last video, I'm not gonna show you this, but this is what it looks like before with the seat taken out and it's cleaned up a little bit. I still have to wipe this down with some prep spray, but this is what it's looking like before, and this is what it looks like after. All right, so we got the cab all finished up. I do have to do a little bit of work on the firewall. I just don't have a paintbrush right now to get up in there. So we'll have to do that another day. I'll probably do it off camera. I won't show you guys, but I spent a little bit of time. I painted the trailer with that 415 all the way around. I kind of missed some spots, but I was just waiting and I had a lot of 415 left. So I did the toolbox, did the railings, the fenders and stuff like that. But since I have an adapter for the 1.25" that we need to take off the wheels, I just don't have the adapter to take off the secondary studs, but we can go ahead and zap off the front wheel. We'll just have to wait for the back wheel. I got this impact and a drill for like $100. It's been working out pretty good. So the impact on the driver's side was able to get off 3 of the lug nuts. There's still 3 on there. We went over to this side and we were able to get off, I believe, 5 lug nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's 1 left on here. The impact's kind of getting a little bit warm. There we go. There it is. Last one on that side. Man, this Craftsman, man, for 50 bucks, it ain't bad. These do not want to come off, man. Must have put them too tight when I retightened them at Caleb's house. Is this battery almost dead already? Man, I've wasted 2 batteries. These aren't the biggest batteries in the world. You can see how tiny they are compared to like Milwaukee's. And this is the second battery I've went through trying to get these off, and it's still not coming off. And there's that battery, it's done. So for the most part, all these came off pretty easily. I had to use a little bit of heat on a couple of them to get them off. But we're just gonna drop these in the parts cleaner basket, and we're gonna throw these in that gallon of parts cleaner from Gunk. Get them all cleaned up. We're only gonna do one side for today just because I don't have any jack stands. I don't want to have the whole back end only lifted up by one jack. I would rather have some jack stands on there. But as long as I get one off and know which parts I have to get and know which ones and know what they look like, we should be all good to go. So I'm just taking this off. We'll take the axle out, and we'll be able to take the hub off. So I'm hoping this can just come right off. Alright, so this axle had some collars on each bolt, and had a hard time getting them off, but they're starting to come off now. There's these little slits in them, and if you put a screwdriver right in between it and pry, they come off fairly easily sometimes, sometimes not. Those are the little collars. They're tapered. Got all 8 of them out. Now, yep, there we go. Being 55 years old. Alright, now that we got the axle out, we can go ahead and should just be able to spin this. Nut off. Alright guys, we got both axle nuts off. There was two of them. This was the first one, and it was separated by this gear looking thing. There's a keyway, and then each one of these is bent back and forth to keep those axle nuts in place. And there's another axle nut behind that one. But we're getting ready to slide this first bearing out. And it looks really good, no discoloration. Feels like a really good bearing. So hopefully we can pop this hub off and take a look at these back brakes. Making use of the tire iron I had to buy in Arizona when I blew that tire coming to Alabama on my trailer. Had to buy this from Tractor Supply and change my tire. If you guys remember seeing that video. Haven't used this thing since, but it's coming in handy now. It's the second time I've used it right now. Bet you these shoes are just extended all the way. Those brake cylinder, those wheel cylinders are nice. Those wheel cylinders are seized up. Actually, they're not even touching the, maybe a little bit they are. I'm hoping these aren't as bad as the front where I can just clean them up and hopefully get some fluid through them and have them start working. If not, I can just buy new ones, but hopefully they're not too bad. Which I'm guessing they probably are. There it is. Man, if you guys are working with these old brake pads, make sure you wear a mask. I should be wearing a mask right now. I'm gonna wet it down so nothing goes airborne, but these pads I think have asbestos or something in them, so just be careful with these. And get mesothelioma. The pads don't look bad. They're not separated. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to reuse the pads. The wheel cylinders are another story. All right guys, so I got the top wheel cylinder out, and without taking any of the springs out, I took my trusty old tire changing iron, and I stuck this right in here, and I just pried up on the brake shoe, and I was able to get the wheel cylinder out. So without having to take apart everything, I think that's going to be the easiest way to get them out, is just to pry that shoe out of there. So this is what the wheel cylinder is looking like. It has fluid in there. They may still be good, actually. Maybe not, I don't know. Doesn't look like they were seized up at all. But I don't think that these were even stopping the truck. They're not crusty like the other ones. These actually look relatively good. I'm still gonna go ahead and change them out just so I can have fresh wheel cylinders in here, and hopefully I might have to replace one of these brake lines right here. But overall, this doesn't look too bad. Let's go ahead and snatch that bottom one off. I'll have to break free the line real quick, and we'll be able to snatch that last one off. go. This side should come off. And then we're just gonna pull this line straight through. And there. That's how you get them off without taking off all the springs. And it should be as simple as doing the same thing, prying the shoe back and slipping the new wheel cylinder in, which I don't have yet. I still have to order them. This one does not look that bad either. So maybe these were still working. I just didn't realize that they were. I don't know. It only felt like the fronts were working, but the backs could have been working this whole time. I just maybe had a little bit of air in the line, and the pedal or the master cylinder has a leak in it. It could have just been that the whole time, but we'll go ahead and replace all these wheel cylinders now that I know what they look like. I got a part number right here just to verify. We'll go ahead and order some new ones, and hopefully have them by the middle of next week. If you guys are watching this on Sunday, I'm talking about Wednesday. They're usually pretty fast on shipping. If I order them tonight, hopefully have them by Wednesday. So now that we have the wheel cylinders off, we can verify which ones we need on Rock Auto and go ahead and order 2 new sets, 1 for each side. There's 2 wheel cylinders each side, so we're gonna have a total of 4. We are gonna order a new master cylinder. We're gonna order a new clutch master cylinder, and there was one, I had to order something for my truck just because my girlfriend got pulled over about a month and a half ago. I guess one of my tag lights is out. So I'm just gonna go ahead and order 2 new ones. And then I think there's a couple other things that I have to order on Rock Auto, but I just can't think of them right now. The main things I need to get, those 2 master cylinders and the new wheel cylinders are the main things that I have to get. Before I go ahead and call it a night, I'm gonna throw the bench seat back in so it's just not sitting out here in the elements. I can go ahead and throw it back in. This 415 is nice and dry, and I think it turned out pretty good. Actually, before I go inside, I'm gonna go ahead and take that paintbrush that I just bought at the store and finish up the firewall. And then I'll go ahead and throw the seats in because it's going to be easier to get in there without the seats in. But that's going to be it for the video, guys. Thank you guys for watching and staying tuned. I know a lot of you guys wanted to see me do the rear brakes, and we're finally getting to it. Got to do one side at a time because I only got 1 jack, and I don't want the whole truck to be leaning back and forth on a jack. I need to buy some jack stands. But thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more videos on this 1965 Dodge D500. We will probably have the next brake video in about 4 or 5 days. So yeah, stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys later. Dippin' Diesel.